Morning and welcome to Clarity Live TV. My name's Barbara Gray and I'm set to show you a load of lovely stamps and stencils today. I do hope that I'm not too late to the party. I got carried away chatting to Jim about a huge truck that's outside the door, and we both agreed that you would not want to drive that juggernaut through Edenbridge. It is huge, takes up the whole street. Crazy, huh? Anyway, come on in. Good to have your company. It's Friday. It's 10 o'clock, and I've got a table, a whole table full of beautiful things that I want to show you. New stamps, new stamps. That's the main thrust today, and I'm on my own because Paul is up at Hobbymaker, and he will be doing groovy shows at 1 o'clock till 3 o'clock, and then again at 6 o'clock. So do be sure to join Paul on Hobbymaker. The lovely Jane Telford is in the room with you. So our friend Jane is going to be feeding any questions or any comments that you have. She'll be feeding them through to me. And bear with me, of course, because I've got all the hats on today. I'm playing producer, presenter, and demonstrator. I've got a couple of really simple demos that I'd like to share with you. But more importantly, there's some superb artwork that I want to showcase too from our art team, from the design team. So we're going to travel gently today. If it takes a little longer than an hour, that's okay too. It's a beautiful sunny day, so it's already getting warm here in the southeast of England. What about yourselves? Yeah, I know. We like the sun though, don't we? So let me see. Jane says the sound is all fine. So I'm drinking my coffee. I'm going to let our friends find us. As far as shopping goes, this is the shopping TV hour. So you know that we do the Shack and we do Groovy Tuesday, but we also do shopping telly here. And this is where you get to see our new products. And what we do for your convenience on our website, you'll know that there is a Clarity TV box, just the same as this one here, a turquoise box. You can watch the TV on the home page. You can watch the show there. You can go into that Clarity TV box and you can catch up. All the shows, all the live shows that we do are stacked in that area. And today we haven't got any digital downloads like we usually do with projects because it's holiday season and Jazz is away for a few days. And so also it was a bit of a last minute thing with the demos yesterday. So I thought it's fine. We can always do that later. But usually there'll be a digital download for you to look at and track. The way to order, if there's anything that tickles your fancy today, is you can shop online, of course. If you're on the website, you can just fill the basket and then check out afterwards. Or you can call Sue and place your order with Sue on 01732 868 215. She's downstairs. If you'd like to speak to her, then of course she will help you too. But the online option seems to be the most popular one nowadays. It's funny how we have adapted, isn't it? Yeah. So let's take a look. Those are our options. You can see already on the screen, I've given you the first brand new set. And I just want to take a moment to talk about what we're up to here. You know, at Clarity, we've been focusing on landscapes for at least a year now, you know, like properly focusing on landscapes, on collage, on cutting out landscapes, on printed landscapes, trees, buildings, houses. You know, we've really gone into the countryside, haven't we, with beautiful stamps. You know what I'm talking about. Last week we introduced the little Christmas stamps to add to your landscapes. So one of the things that's very popular everywhere you look is urban landscapes, cityscapes, urban sketches. You know, when I was in Paris with Grace, everywhere you looked, there were pictures of the Eiffel Tower. When you're in London, everywhere you look, Big Ben. New York, iconic Statue of Liberty. When I have Zoom meetings, business Zoom meetings, it's interesting to note that in the background on the wall, there'll be Las Vegas, or there'll be London, or there'll be Paris. It's interesting how it's very popular for wall art, isn't it? So when we were in Paris, Grace and us and myself, I kind of took that on board. We've got other beautiful cityscape stamps, stencils, and masks, but I was looking at the kind of flavour, and I thought I'm going to go sketchy because there's a big trend at the moment for sketchy urban art. When I say sketchy, I mean like not kind of scribbled, but really creatively arty. And I thought, I bet I could do that. I bet I could draw that for us card makers, or small wall art, or journaling, you know, scrapbooking. It's also, we are always being asked about men's cards, and this kind of cityscape urban art is very manly. You know, it's great for men's cards. I think also I really want to lean into the urban side, because you may be sitting there thinking, why would I make a card with the Eiffel Tower? Well, because you make cards. Why would I make a card with Big Ben if I don't come from London? Well, because you're an artist and you're creative. What these beautiful icons are is it's the tool to hang your hat on. It's where you hang your arty hat on. And I'm a big fan of not always just making art for a purpose. You know, I think sometimes, we were talking about it in the shack yesterday evening, sometimes it's great just to be creative. Use images that you maybe can't draw, but you really like, and just get creative around them, you know. So what I want to do now is take a look at some of the new artwork. Bear with me, because I'm on my own. I'm working on different levels here. So the first thing I want to show you is the new stamps. So if I show you the new stamps here, you can see, so I drew these. They're a good size, but they come in 2 sizes. And they've also got some really delightful people that I drew under an umbrella, also different sizes for great perspective. Let's take a look at the actual artwork. And you can see here we've got our 3 beautiful icons, really nice to use. The design team clearly enjoyed them because we got some fantastic artwork. So if you're interested in this particular urban art, our sketchy London, Paris and New York stamps, there is the item code is 12175, 12175. There is a bundle, and the reason that I call this, we're putting in a bundle here at a special price, is that I also drew, because we were doing urban art. Let me just show you. You know, we've been on this journey in the shack for a while now, and if you recall, we drew this beautiful urban art. Do you remember when we did that? The houses, gorgeous. More will be revealed on them. You know what we do? We draw it on tracing paper, we transfer it, we colour it in. And I remember when we were doing this, I know I digress, but there's a reason for it. I said, wouldn't it be nice if we drew some really simple little characters that would work? Look, don't they look smashing, right? So you've got a little couple, you've got a young girl, And then we got kind of distracted. I think Grace and I went off to Paris, and that was the end of that. But the point I'm making is that these little guys, they lend themselves really beautifully to this art. Now, the design team haven't even seen these particular stamps yet because they only came out this week. It was too late to send to the art team. So the only art you're going to see here is the little demonstration that I do just to show you how they work. But they sit so well, not only with these urban landscapes that we're now looking into, but also the landscape, the countryside landscapes. They sit really well. And because I drew them, all the bodies are like little triangles. Let me show you what I mean. Because I drew them like little triangles, let me show you the board so you can see. These are really easy to do paper piecing with. And we've got loads of really funky little characters here. You know, we've got the brothers, the sisters, or mum and two kids, got a young girl, got an elderly couple, got boyfriend and girlfriend, got two girlfriends. We've got so many, a girl on her own, mother and daughter, or friends, lovers, married couple, wedding couple, tall and small, gone fishing. Very, very nice triangle people. And I'll show you, let me show you the card that we're going to do so you get the idea. This is one that I just rustled up yesterday for you, but I just wanted to show you, look, how easy it is. Because they're triangle people, you can get marvelous perspective on this. See what I mean? So what I'm saying is you can stamp the Eiffel Tower, but because we're paper piecing the dress, it's so easy to cut out. Very easy. So just one example, that's just the little girl there. Right, those are the triangle stamps. Now, on their own, it's 12174. They're 19.99. These are 19.99. If we bought both of those together in a brand new bundle, it's 12176. I'm sure that Jane will be giving you that link. Now, if you were to take that particular bundle, then let me just see if I can find the duo. Yes. So what you'll see on the screen now is 12176, and you'll see that there's a £5 savings. So it drops the price down to £34.98. And of course, you get your club discount. Whether you're a gold member or a diamond member, you can add 10, 12.5 or 15% discount on that. And the other thing that we decided to do was also offer you double points. So we automatically get points. You don't have to be a club member for those. You automatically get double points on your purchases with Clarity online and on the phone. So what we'll be doing is we'll be adding double points to that bundle until midnight Monday. So you see, it's a good building game too. So there you go. Those are the two new sets. Like I say, artwork, more will be revealed on that. But I want to show you just a few little bits of artwork for this particular one. While I'm just looking that up, have a closer look at the two sets of stamps so you can see what we've got there, while I just put this to one side so that I can find it later again. There you go. I'm going to have to travel quite slowly and gently on this one because we've got loads to show you. Right, first things first, let's look at some of the artwork. Let's look at some of the artwork now. Really beautiful. I did have a little sneak peek with you in the shack last night. You can see these little people. Very nice. This is the card. This is a D special. You can see here, I just took, this is another demo that I'd like to do today. If I don't get to it, do you know what? It's not a problem. I'll blog it. I took photographs. But you can see here, what I was doing here, what I tried to show was how fascinating, even if you take these little people here, right? I'll show you. Just the little people there. One little person with a little poodle. There's a tiny little poodle there, right, in 3 different sizes. You can use them with the stamps the countryside stamps. So, you know, we've got, of course, we've got our all our countryside stamps, those mega A5 sets with loads of little trees and people, and so they work beautifully also with this urban sketchy look. The two styles work very nicely together. Hours of play on this. So I want to, if I get to it, I'll do that. Right, let's have a look at some of this artwork. Deborah Wheeler, she's used the masks in the background. So we've got really cool masks. Now let me see if I can find the masks. These are great. There you go. 31132. Excellent masks. And they work really beautifully, of course, with these sketchy urban stamps, as you can see here. So the masks are delightful. There are 3 different ones. Then we've got, there we go, Deborah Wheeler again. She used that stamp of ours, the London stamp. This is rather lovely. Jane Telford, well done, Jane. So this is a bit of a make memories, a little scrapbook. This is a lovely little diary idea. Look at the little poodle on the corner. This would be great as a book for my travels when I was in Paris. I love it, Jane. Right, so you can see how that's been done. A little bit of collage, really lovely. Deborah Wheeler, lovely inky panel, using the wee folk in the background. I like that too. Sarah Brennan, she's broken this up, made bow wob sketches. These little people are very charming. I hope you like them. Linda Spencer, she's used lace, a print with lace from the jelly plate. Sheila Metzeler, love this. You know, so you can see here we've got different sizes as well. So really lovely play time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at these. Jane Telford, she's done a set of 3, which I really like. Let me pan out a little bit so you can see them better. You can see here that sketchy nature. When I drew these, I drew them with a pen. Rather than a micron pen, it was a brush pen. And that's how I was able to get that real sketchy, inky look. Andy Duggan, love it. Repeat stamping in the background, white embossed over the top. You see there's a Tina Morris special, bow wob. So she's created a background paper with the stamps. Looks fantastic. Linda Spencer, these are so cool. Sarah Brennan working on the people. I am, I can, I will, one of my favorite expressions. You see how this sketchy urban kind of building works very, very nicely with lots of different other stamps, if you like. There's also, here's something. We're going to look at these stencils later on. So now we're combining the stencils, which we've also got on the show, you see. So we've got the Statue of Liberty. These are brilliant artwork that we have in stamp and stencil. We'll get to them in a minute. I won't jump around too much. Love this. So this is a really arty, let's have a look, Julie Dunn. So it's very sketchy, drawn, organic, which is lovely. Julie Dunn again, very nice, very gorgeous. Sarah Brennan, did I have to even look? So you see, really just excellent. So many examples of play. Now, whether or not you live in New York is neither here nor there. It's the creative process. It's whether you live in London or not. It's a clock. It doesn't have to be Big Ben, although it is the iconic Big Ben. I love using I think this is a Deborah Wheeler. Yeah, I love that she's using the rub-on transfers because they don't hide the background, which is great. There's a great one from Debbie McMullin using just those people. There's another one from Tina Morris on inky scrap. And here's one from, let's have a look. This is Andy Duggan. Let me just lift that off there. Really beautiful. Tags, stencils, mixed media, Paris, Paris, Paris. Very nice indeed. Yeah, so, you know, to me, this is like almost like mini wall art. I'd be quite happy to see this art on my wall. Look, Big Ben, gorgeous. Sheila Metzler, if I'm not mistaken. It certainly is. And she's used those printed backdrop cards that we did. We've got those. Let me see. I've got them on the show. Let me just grab them for a minute so you can see. It's what I used on one of the demos. Let's have a look. So here you've got the large ones, these large pieces, 31804. Those are the large printed. And then you've got the toppers and tags, 31805. Or you can get both of these for that's 31812. I'm sure that Jane will give us the link to that for yourselves. And where's my, just bear with me, because I have these in one of our folders. Let me show you. So I've got my 8 by 8 inch folder, just so that you see. This is, I was showing you this yesterday in the shack. See, these are those landscapes. So that's the large one. These are so cool to use. And there are loads of them in a set, right? You can see here. But every one has its own smaller piece, and then the tiny, so toppers, tags, and then the large one, you see. So I've put them into a folder, and I can, so if I like that one there, that's using the small one, see. So all I've done is gone in here, used a small one of those, whichever one, and that's the background for that piece of artwork. Very easy to do. What's lovely, I was talking about this yesterday, is that it gives you an instant backdrop. And so, you know, sometimes when you just sit in front of a white piece of card, it can be quite daunting, can't it? So what's brilliant about these Barb's landscape backdrop prints, toppers and tags, what's great about this is it gives you an instant canvas. You've already, and then you can start exploring these they're quite muted for a reason, but it gives you something to hang your stamps on. It gives you something to start, you know, and you'll be blown away how beautiful these are, whether you go down the urban townscape, cityscape route, or you go down the countryside, the rolling hills. These are very lovely for that. And to have them in 3 different sizes, it kind of caters for whatever whether you want to go wall art, whether you want to go framed, whether you want to chop it up. It caters for all sizes. So well worth considering this this set. I'll just give you that number again. Just write it down if you need it. The bundle is 31812. To be honest, I would personally say go for the bundle, because the small ones are invaluable. Remember when we did them with these different trees? And these are great, these stamps. Look. So that works beautifully on these, but so do the urban ones. I love these people, even if I say so myself. Right, so let me put them back. And then I want to show you, let me just pan out a little bit so we're not so close. Right, the next thing I want to show you is I'm just going to work my way through all the different urban things. And then when I've done that, that's the new ones, okay? So the new ones, just to, forgive me for repeating myself, there are the new ones. That's the duo, 12176, that's the triangle people, and Barb's sketchy Paris, New York, and London icons. Right. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to show you. Next up, let's see what's next on my screen. Bear with me a second. It's going to be this one. So let's look at the dies. Again, Paris, London, New York, beautiful dies. Let me show you them. If you're a die person, these are fabulous. I've picked just a handful of art samples to show you, but I think you'll really like, if you like dies, and again, it's that combination. Let's take a look. So these dies are, you can see here, 3 dies. They're a good size, but they're a modest size. They're not overwhelming. So you can see here, we've got New York with the words, Paris, it's an aperture die, absolutely superb, London. So you've got the 3 panoramic views, if you like. What that gives you, it cuts out like this. So the black is the cutout, you see? Excellent. Let's look at it white on black. Then that looks sharp. Just to show you, this is Paris, you see? And that's what it looks like, white on black. This is London. There you go. There's the wheel. There's Big Ben, Gherkin, Tower Bridge. There it is in white. So you can see how gorgeous these are and how they just look lovely. So if you imagine you've got all 3 available and they've all got individual numbers. If you've got a particular penchant for Paris, for example, it's 31078. The prices are great on these. Now, normally they're £10 each. Today, if you buy all 3, you're pretty much getting 1 free. So you're getting 3 for the price of 2. And in order to secure that special price, then you need to enter 31131, and that will get you all 3 of those dies for a mere £19.97. And that doesn't include your discount. So you 10%, 12.5%, or 15% discount. If you were a Diamond Club member, you'd also get 15% off the back of that special price. You'd be paying no more than £16.97. So just over £5 for each die. Just a little bit more than half price. That's pretty clever. And when you see the artwork, you'll understand. Let's take a look here again. Let's look. That's one that I did at some point. These are very nice. Dee Paramore, love the way she's done that. So you can see here she's used the masks that I just flagged up. See, I'll show you. If I show you the physical mask, you'll understand. So we look for Paris. That's London. That's New York. That's Paris. So you can see here, look. So she's lifted that piece up and she's dropped it on this card, and then she's just brushed through a little bit of green. Do you see? Just swept it through with the brushes. Brushes, I hear you ask? What brushes are we talking about? We're talking about 31763, our 4 beautiful stencil brushes. Work fantastic with the masks as well. Or you can use sponges if you prefer. Sponges are more detailed. You can get 1 pack of sponges, 30537, or you can get 4 bumper packs of sponges, which I use all the time, and that is 31215. Did I say you ought to have a piece of paper, be writing down these numbers? But you can see how easily this background has been added to the dies. Really, really beautiful composition. And you know what would look really beautiful as well is if you had that grungy parrot. Look at that. See, now that would really look sharp if you took that grungy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, so you can shuffle that along a bit so the Eiffel Tower's not there. And you've got the Arc de Triomphe over here. Wouldn't that look beautiful? It's all about play, guided play. Now, let's have a look. New York, Paris. So now we've tessellated. We've put them together. Dee Paramore again at her best. Using, I love that. Everyone smiles in the same language. Isn't that great? New York, Paris. Here's a gorgeous one by Debbie McMullin using London. There's that little, you can just see the mask peeping through again. So if you're going for the dies, treat yourself to the masks. Here it is again. Interesting. See? London, Paris. So these are tags. Nice, eh? Nice. Designer paper in the background, mask in the background. Look, see? You don't need a lot, but it does look sharp, doesn't it? So there's a mask in the background. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Deborah Wheeler, you can see here she's made an aperture. I like that too. So yeah, and here's a Paris with a drop shadow, so a black one underneath of the words you can see here. Just taken a pen actually. Deb's just taken a pen to do that. And we've got those, check out that stencil in the background, very arty, illustrated by our dear friend Mel Turner. I'm going to show you that in a moment. Now, this is a cool one by Dee. I like this a lot. What she's done is she's staggered them. Look, you see, let's come in close on that so you can see it. You can see how she's taken London, Paris, and New York, and she's staggered them and just added a little bit. She's used the brushes for sure, just a little bit longer on the London one to make it look like it's set in front. Yeah, nice. White card, easy. I'd like to teach the words to sing in perfect harmony. Which stickers are those? Those are Barb stickers, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be wrong, but I've got a feeling they're Barb stickers, the original ones. Anyhow, just to show you then, that is 31131 for all three of those dies for a modest 1997 plus club discount. You're buying 3 and you're only paying for 2. So that's pretty good. Right, so that's the dies. Okay. Next thing I want to show you, if I'm not mistaken, let me just let the TV, let me just bear with me a second. I think the next one is rather nice. Yeah, so next up, 11866. This is where we will say to travel is to live. So this is a beautiful set of stamps. Again, we've got the icons. Let's check out, plus a few more. This time, these were drawn differently, and you can see they're very much more single line art as opposed to the sketchy art. So you can see, for example, it's a very different type of art, yeah? Different feel, different style. This may be more your flavour. So we've got different ones. Here we've got Tower of Pisa, we've got Taj Mahal as well, and we've also got Tower Bridge. So you can see the beautiful stamps, and the number on your screens is 11866. Let's have a look at some artwork. I'm going to pan out a little bit so we can take a better look at it. Lovely, lovely artwork. Just check this out. Eileen Godwin, beautiful square stamps in the background. Let me just take that away so that it's not so blurry. Is that still blurring? No, that came in now. Right, so that's rather lovely, isn't it? This is a gorgeous one by Dee Paramore. I love the way she's layered this up. And then do you know what? This is all on one layer. Bear in mind that fantastic stencil in the background, which is coming up soon. So those stencils really hit the spot because there's a little bit of Metro, a little bit of, you'll see when we start looking at them more closely. But these are great men's cards. Yeah, very, very beautiful indeed. Here's another one by Julie Dunn using the tea bag bow wobs. I love this one, Sonia Goodliff. So very arty grungy. Interesting to note how different the feel can be. But this application would also work fantastic with the new Sketchy stamps. In fact, it would work better than fantastic. Here's one by Sam Crow. Lace jelly plate bow wobs. You can see here we've got the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Here's a gorgeous one by Julie Dunn. So she's used one of the stencils, the Taj Mahal, but she's also used, those are those Darjeeling, the Darjeeling papers. I can see it here. This is those infusion papers. So the Darjeeling paper, it's in here. There's that. See, these are the ones that are really cool for layering up. There it is. I know me papers. So that's the Darjeeling paper, 31458. 8. Very lovely background on that one from Julie. Love this. Julie done again. So we've got, do you know, this always reminds me so much of Maya and Lynn Hammond. Lynn was on the design team, on the art team years ago, and she got the most beautiful dog. It was a chocolate lab. We had black labs, and Lynn and her husband had Maya, which is a chocolate lab. Funny enough, I saw, I'm still Facebook friends with Lynn, and I saw them. Maya must be 14 years old now. I saw it on Facebook. Just this beautiful old dog, and they dressed it up as Biggles on a plane. It was gorgeous, and I'm so happy to say that Maya is still with us, and even more beautiful that this wee stamp always reminds me of Lynn Hammond and her dog. So you can see how that's been put together. It's an association thing, isn't it? And here's one from Sheila Metzeler. Again, what I love about all of these stamps that I'm presenting to you is that they work beautifully. There's another Sheila Metzeler with other stamps that you have. There's a really gorgeous one by Sonia Goodliff. Just a tiny little bit of colour, a little bit of drop shadow. How gorgeous, how beautiful, you know. And it's having images. When you're a stamper, if you're watching, you're probably a stamper. The reason you're a stamper is Maya is 16 and a half years old. Thank you, Jane. See, I knew she was getting up there. When you're a stamper, you want new images to get your creative juices flowing. What I do is I draw those stamps for you. What Jazz does is she draws those stamps for you. Jim too. See, so and what we're offering you here is it's like seasoning. You've got the techniques, you've got the card, you've got the ink pads, but you can't keep stamping the same stamps. So our job is to offer you new exciting designs that combine with what you've already got. That's important, that you can use what you've already got in your stash, but it just adds a new flavor. It just adds something zesty, you know. And urban art is big at the moment, believe you me. Okay, so that one there is 11866 in combination with the urban sketchy stamps. Beautiful. You know, there's nothing like contrast to make a piece of artwork more exciting. You know, you think, why would I get the Eiffel Tower in that set and the Eiffel Tower in that set? Because they work amazingly together. That's why. Right, next up, let's have a look. The next thing I want to show you, bear with me, is the three-way overlays. Now, this is a clearance sale. So let me just show you these stamps. This is an insanely good price. We've got two different ones. We've already sold out of the London one. We've got Paris and New York left. This is a clearance sale. So let's take a look first at Paris. These are three-way overlay stamps. These are pretty spectacular. 10956. This is £6.39 for all three of those stamps. For all three of these stamps. These are three-way overlays. This is my favourite thing to do. So that is the outline. That's the infill of that one, but it works beautifully on its own, just as a bold stamp. And then the third one is the one that is the infill for that one and that one. So you could use them, hours of play. I can't tell you how much play is in these three-way overlay stamps. The reason that we have a lot of them in stock is because we made too many for a TV show back in the day. Okay, we made far too many, and then we ended up with more stock than we needed. So what we're doing now is we're clearing them off the shelf so that we can go again. I really want to, I just want to offer them at a ridiculously good price so that we can clear the shelf and we can keep going. Okay, so these now, this one, City of Paris, three-way overlay, 10956, 639 plus club discount. Check out the artwork here. Absolutely spectacular. I'm just going to show you some beautiful artwork so you get the drift. This is going to be for £6.39. That means that if you're going to be paying about £5.50 as a club member for all 3 of those beautiful stamps. Now let's have a look. There it is using all 3. Linda Spencer with the masks again. Remember I said, don't forget your masks. Masks again. Look at this. What a superb piece of artwork. Andy Duggan. So he's used the mask, he's used a flyaway boy, and his flyaway boy. It's my mark, that is. And then we've got the Metro all through. And he's used, I can tell you now, Andy's only used that 3rd stamp in the background in red. So the one at the front's the one that's going to be stamped first. Cover it up with a post-it. Look, you could do that. Just cover it up with a post-it, stamp the next one, cover that one up. So now you've got that one up, that one covered. Now you stamp that one in teal. And so you layer up like that. Whatever's at the front, that would be the green one in this case, and you mask it, mask it, mask it, mask it. What a superb piece of artwork. And it's all using just one of those stamps. So if these are £5.50, say, £6.30 without any discount, you're paying just over £2 for that experience. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so as far as this is pretty cool. Watch this. So this is a Sam Crow. She used all 3 of them. She's got texture paste going on there as well. But what she made, this is quite something, plus a stencil as well. Check this out. These are pencil pots. So what she's done is she's put them on card. Talk about functional art. She's got Velcro like that. And that makes a superb pencil pot. Pop them in there. Look at that. There you go. So you just use it to hold your work up. Look. What a great idea. What a great arty idea that is. Yep, that'll be Sam Crow. So you can see here, she's done one for, love that. She did one for Paris. They make lovely gifts. And then she made one for New York as well. Water pot or pen holder sleeve. Yeah, look, real mixed media. Love this. Love this indeed. See, so there are your Velcro. Yeah, and you just go like that. Doesn't that look sharp? Yeah, I know. What a clever idea. So those 2. So now I'm moving into the other stamp set. So let's just go back on ourselves a moment, right? I just want to look at that screen. So the Paris is 10956 for £6.39. And then we've got New York. New York, New York. This is great as well. Let's check it out. So now we've got New York, which I love. And I love the way Mel drew these. So let me just find New York on the, just bear with me 1 second. I think it's this one. There we are. There's New York City, 10955. Once again, we're looking at £6.39 before discount. You're saving £9.60. This is what I call a serious clearance. And it's the same principle. So you ought to really be buying these for a ridiculous, listen, for 12 quid, you've got 6 stamps here. And you can see we've got the outline, the infill, and then the backdrop. And just that on its own, to me, would be worth £10 on its own. So let's take a look at some of the artwork. You can see these are substantial stamps. This is the New York one. Let's look at some artwork. Right, Andy Duggan again. He clearly likes this. You know, we're always talking about men's cards. Well, here are your men's cards. There's an Andy Duggan again. Love this. Jane Telford. I like what she's done. Isn't that nice? So that's using all 3 stamps. That's using the black line art, the blue infill, and then the backdrop one This is Paris, isn't it? Paris got mixed up, sorry. But you can see this is a great one. D. Paramore. This is parchment. Love that idea. This is a great one again. Jane Telford. Gritty. Nice. Backdrop. Elaine Milner. What a great one this is. New York, New York. So glad they named it twice. And she's done a drop shadow by taking the infill and moving it over. So she's used, let me explain, she's used the backdrop one to make the colour, okay? She's used the backdrop and she's just padded a little bit of blue, a little bit of red on the stamp. That's given her the colour, okay? Then she's taken this one and she's blacked it out. So she's used an archival black or a black ink pad of some description. And when she put it down, but she went up and to the left a bit. She went up and to the right a bit. And that gives her the little drop shadow. Isn't that superb? I know. So there you go. There's another drop shadow one, Sarah Brennan. Really nice. Now, what the difference is, what Sarah's done is she's used the number 1 stamp and the number 2 stamp, and she hasn't bothered with the infill one, you see? And just to be clear, in case they're not in your basket yet, these are the masks in the background. I love New York. Stunned beautifully, Sarah. Absolutely glorious artwork. All of these, the art team, I think we're going to stop calling them the design team. We're going to call them the art team. This is the Clarity art team at its absolute best. Because strictly speaking, the design team, that's myself, Jazz, and Jim. We design the stamps. The art team, they're the team that take those designs and they turn them into art. So I'm going to officially call our design team the Clarity Art Team. I think that actually has an even better ring to it, don't you? And it's well deserved. Well deserved. Okay, so we've done I know, look, it's already 10 to. Can I be forgiven for just indulging this beautiful artwork? You know, I think too often the art team spend so much time and effort making glorious art samples, and then we're not able to show them, you know? And it's just as easy for me to take that little, I'll show you that little, I'll show you the little triangle girl. Now let's see. But it's just, I find it a pleasure to just showcase talented artists. And that's what this is, because they're also inspirations, aren't they? And they will be flooding Facebook with their art samples in an attempt, because they're sharers. They love showing you what they can do. They love sharing and inspiring you to do some too. So let's take a look. What's the next thing on my list? We looked at the 2 stamps. So if I'm not mistaken, we're now on, give me a moment. We've done the overlay stamps. We've done the masks, so now I'm on number 10. Yes, the stencils. Let's look at the stencils. So these stencils, these were designed by our dear friend Dave and I, close friend. Dave and Mel have been friends since they were kids, teenagers. She's a superb artist. Remember the cartographer? Remember the lady, the map drawer? This is the cartograph. And you can see when you look at the stencils, this is the same artwork as the 3-way overlay stamps. These are the stencils, so they're 7 by 7 inch. Let's take a look. You can get the whole pack of 3. Here they are, look, exactly like they come. This is them in real size, so you understand what you're looking at. These are the 3 stamps. And when you look at the detail, it's quite beautiful. You can't even see this until you look close. See the double-decker bus? St. Paul's, the Wheel, Tower Bridge. It's so beautiful, right? Stars and Stripes. What's the name of that building? Come on. The route. No, what's that one called? All right, let's go to this one instead. I've drawn a blank, but I know there's the Brooklyn Bridge. This is the I can see the building. It's very art deco. It's lovely. As soon as you go to New York, it's first thing that strikes you in the skyline. What's it called? I can't remember. Come on, give us a clue, people. Right, and then we've got, of course, the metro, which Grace and I navigated absolutely brilliantly. Got a girl doing the can. We've got the Eiffel Tower in the background, the Arc de Triomphe. There's so much incredible artistic detail goes into these stencils, and the same detail goes into those amazingly inexpensive stamps. So the 3 stencils, if you get them together, is 675, as you can see on the screen. Save £2, and there you go. So that's that. Should we have a little look at artwork? Beautiful artwork. You can see what I mean. This is done with paste on black card, and then it's painted over the top of the paste. This is an Elaine Milner. Absolutely glorious. When you feel it, it's really grungy. So that's Paris. Then we've got Julie Dunn. She's done a fantastic job using the American one, and this is using glitter paste, or you could use white paste. Quite honestly, you could use white clear texture paste, and then you could, if you wanted to, you could sprinkle it with our Perga glitter 70252, sprinkle it while it's wet, and it will set in the paste. Actually, probably a better way to go. Yeah, and it will only set when you've got it on there. Tap it away, and it will all fall back, and you put it back in the pot. This is a beautiful one by Sheila Metzeler. This is a gel press. Love that. It's got a real lovely gritty feel to it. It's nice. This is a gorgeous one. This is Sarah Brennan. So she, of course, our stencils are very good quality, and you can run them through the, see what she's done is she's run them through the die machine, and it's like an emboss. See how you get an emboss on that? Let's see if this camera works. You can see the emboss on that. You know, if at the beginning you were thinking to yourself, why would I make art with French buildings or American buildings? It's art. The word is art, and these beautiful buildings, they just lend themselves particularly beautifully. These stencils are quite something, which is the same as saying the stamp designs are quite something. There's a gel press, Embrace Your Freedom. This is our Jane Telford. Cool. They are lovely, you know. I'm excited to get these out of the cupboard again, because we don't often, you know, we're always cracking on with the next new design. But you know what? Some of this old is gold, isn't it? Some of this old is gold. This is a lovely one. So you split, if you think you split it into panels, doesn't that look great? Another gorgeous one. This is Sheila Metzeler. That's Sheila Metzeler as well. I recognise the writing on the back. Or is it? No. Could be. Yeah, I think so. Linda Spencer. Sorry, Linda. It's Linda Spencer's work. And this one, again, is texture paste. It's really lovely. Let's take a look at that one from the side. This is very mixed media kind of art. Look. Very lovely. You know, and if you wanted to chop that up, works really nicely. So there you go. And there's a combination where you use the stencil in the background. That's a Linda Spencer special. This is, yeah, I wanted to show you this one because it's, I don't know who did it, but it's so gritty. Look at that one. Oh, I'm on the wrong camera. Apologies. You can see, actually go back to that camera. Take a look at that. It's so urban. It feels like concrete. It's so cool. Absolutely marvelous. So there you go. Those are the 3 stencils, the pack of 3 stencils. Love, love, love. And if we go to this screen, you can see here, as it says on the telly, for all 3, it's 675 is the code, and you're paying £15.97 less your club discounts. So we've done that one and that one. And then I think, oh, I said to Paul, do you know what? I really like our really, really old American ones, because a lot of our friends are Americans or they have American relatives. July the 4th comes around every year. right? July the 4th comes around every year. And I wanted to show you this pair of stencils that we designed years ago. Again, it's got that kind of urban, sketchy feel to it. It's quite grungy, isn't it? And so for the pair, it's 466, and you get the Statue of Liberty with the stars and stripes integrated, and then here you get a heart with stars and stripes. So let's take a look. We're taking it full cycle now. We can see here Sheila Metzler's taken that heart, and she's taken our sketchy Statue of Liberty, the large one. See? So that's that one there. Works beautifully, doesn't it? So we've got that one, which works really nicely. And then I've got this one, so you can see how that looks. Again, Sheila Metzler, she likes those stencils. And then last but not least, we've got Sarah Brennan. So if you love this as well with the drop shadows, I've got your back, New York. Yes, I do. So if you are interested in combining beautiful stencils with the new sketchy artwork, then this pair will be really great, especially if you've got family and friends, for example, in the States, and you do celebrate the 4th of July, Independence Day, then these two stencils, they cut, they hit the spot quite well. So there we go. Chrysler Building, thank you. That's exactly what it was called. Thank you, Kim Cartwright. Okay, so the duo on these are 466. There you go. So the only thing I still want to show you, let's have a look. Have we got time for one quick demo? If I just do the first one, have we got time, or are you going to leave me on my own? I'm up for it if you are. I'll show you, shall I? Right, hang on a minute. Let me just go back to what we're going to go for is the pear. There you go. In for a penny, in for a pound. Now, let's have a look. So if we look at the screen, we've got the 12176. That's going right back to the pair of new stamps. Let's look at the overlay so you can see it full screen now. And that will give me a chance just to draw breath and have a think for a moment. Are you up for a demo? Shall I do a quick demo? Go on, say yes. Good. General consensus. Right, I'm going to do a quick demo, and I'm going to just show you how these little people work and the stamps, and we need a backdrop. So backdrop stamps, let's have a look. What am I going to use? This is what I'm going to make, and then I'll show you what I'm going to use. Right, you ready? Because I'm going to use both of these stamps. So let's take a look. And right, deconstruct. I hope I've got everything I need. Be fine. Right, you ready? Okay, a little bit of arty inspiration here using backdrops. So if we look at this, I've got a 5x5 white card blank, which we sell, and they are very good quality. So let me just find you those so that I can, yes. Here we go. 5x5, 10 white card blanks and envelopes, number 31670, or if you prefer, the craft card 31674. They're 5x5 inch, all ready to go. Okay, and while we're on the subject, just in case you need these, 4x4 31685. Write it down so you know where to find them for the really little mini makes on Monday. Oh, go on then. Everyone says yes. Good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to make the background from scratch, because I need a 4x4 to do that. So I've got choices. I could chop up those cards, or, right, to me, that doesn't make sense, to chop up a 4x4 to get 4x4. I understand what you're thinking, that does make sense, but it doesn't, because it's a cost thing. If you're going for a 4-inch front, let's work it backwards. Right, here we go, demo time. If I'm going for a 4-inch front, because I need the 4-inch front, because I want to do this little backdrop here, right? Let's just say, stick to the card for the moment. If I want a 4-inch front, I'm going to go in the other direction, and I'm going to use a large 10. I'm going to go to the large card. I haven't got it here, but what I'm just looking. It's not on the back. It doesn't matter. It's not of any importance. Oh yeah, here it is. Right, that's what I'm after. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to take an 8.5 by 11, and I'm going to chop that down, and then I've got loads. See, so here 30361. This is 8.5 by 11. So I chop off half an inch, and I've got like 2 strips, and then I go 1, 2. So then I've got 6, or at least I've got 4 out of this, and I've got useful pieces around the outside. This is much better than cutting up 4 by 4 inch card blanks, which cost money, and they come with envelopes. Okay, so if you're going to do this job, treat yourself to this. Okay, right. So that's how we end up with the 4 by 4 inch card, which is what we're going to use to do this job. Now let me find. Right, I've come to the conclusion that if I can't find anything, I go straight to my go-to box. The slow down boxes are absolutely marvelous for this. Now let's have a look. There it is. So if in doubt, if I'm worried I'm not going to find it, I just put it in here. Okay, everything goes in here, and then I know where it's going to be. I'm going to need a bigger slow down box, but for the moment, I'm going to have my go-to box 1, my go-to box 2. I know what's going to happen next. But it's really handy, and it looks good on the shelf. So we do sell blank ones of these. Let me see if I've got one floating around. Yay! There it is. Right, I'm getting into this. I think I'm going to apply for a job as a presenter. Not, but needs a must. Right, so 31382 is a beautiful, sexy looking slow down box that looks absolutely gorgeous on the shelf. It's like a book. Isn't it nice? See? And it's got a magnet thing. It's got a magnet, so it closes and it stays closed. So there you go. There, 31382. Right, I'm digressing. I know. Get on with the demo, Gray. Alrighty. So I've got this. I've got my card. I've got my little "It's Your Today." That's in case oh, don't lose that. Right. So the first thing we're going to do is do the background. I need a little moon. I need a moon, mini moons. I did get them out. So I've got a set of mini moons. They come with lots. Jane will find them for you, won't you, Jane? Right. So now I've got that. And now I need some inks. Okay, I'm going for the Distress Oxides because I'm going to make this background. So let's have a look. I'm going to take my small one of these backdrop stamps. So you've got a large one, works in exactly the same way, and then you've got a small one. So we've got all different ones. These are fantastic just to get you started. So if you want the pair, it's 11037, and you get the large one and the small one. They just make the most delightful background. You see, they're like a canvas, a blank canvas, and then you decide what you want to do with them. So let's take a piece of. Oh, do you know what I've just found? Well, I'll be blowed. I've been looking for that everywhere. I just found the W from. Don't ask. It's all right. Right. Okay. So I would say I just bought a rough selection of ink pads, and I'm going to use my Spot On sponges. Right, Spot On sponges. We've already had this conversation, but I'm going to go again. 30537 for 1 pack of 16 pieces. 31215 for 4 packs, which means you get 64. 1632, 64. Righty ho. Okay, these are very good for this stuff. So what we want to do is just make a landscape, right? But it needs to be a sort of an grungy. I'm going to start with yellow in the middle. I'll show you. I'm just going to go direct to the ink pad. That'll do. The ink pads, to my mind, they are they're tools. And if I get a little bit of yellow on here, all I've got to do is take a paper towel and just wipe the surface of the. Really, it's that easy. So I'm going to take a bit of bundled sage, just different colours. Let's have a look. Bit of that. That'll do. Bit of green. I'm going for a bit of green now. A little bit of turquoise. This is a peacock feathers. That's quite bright, isn't it? And I've still got a bit of pink up there. Let's get a bit of brightness going in that area. Maybe I'll add a bit down there, see what happens. Right, that'll do. And, yeah, that'll do. And maybe, just because I can, I might just put a sweep through there, because that'll give me some kind of landscape. You see, I'm just drawing a kind of a rough landscape into the picture. Right, so now I've done that, I want to, I'm going to start in the lightest colour. I'm going to make a mushroom with my sponge, and then I'm just going to, I'm smoothing out the colour really. You don't have to, you really don't have to, but it just, you know, it depends whether you want a smooth background or you want a grungy background. See, and you can always add a bit more. Look, let's add a bit more. I'm going to add a bit of pink actually down the bottom. See what happens if we add a bit of pink. Just a little bit around the bottom, a bit around the top. Oh, there's nothing like winging it, is there, Gray? Right, okay. So a little bit of that, a little bit of that. So now I've got my colour. I've got my I need to take this away so I've got a frame reference. I want to put it in the centre. I want to try for the middle. But if I put it on a white piece of copy paper, I can't see the outside, right? So now I've got that. Now I need water. So I'm going to spritz, yeah? So if I hose it down, then it's all about, you've got to try it a couple of times, and that will, you'll get the perfect, just make a few of them. Some of them are better than others, right? But what you'll find is, if you don't clean the ink off this, you go again, and you're doing and you just make a note. Like if I put too much water in and it clogs up the guttering around the outside, then I need to, on the second go, a little less water, right? So you hold it like that. If you don't put enough water on, it might stick to the card. So it's, you know, it's like everything. You just got to work out your material. So this is it's one of those spritzers. Mine at home doesn't do this. This one just keeps going. That's my excuse. This one just carries on hosing, even though I've taken my hand off. So now it's probably too wet. Okay, not to worry. Let's take a look. So now I've got this. If I think it's too wet, I'll show you a little something. I'm going to risk it for a biscuit. But if I hosed it down and I know that it's going to get clogged up in there, I can always take a blending pen and just clean out the gutter a bit. To be fair, I'm just going to go for it. Right, because, right, hang on a minute though. I want a moon, don't I? Or a sun or something. Let's take one of these then. Look, there you go. I'll take one of these. Like that. And I'm going to pop that there. There you go. So now I know where it's going to be. It's going to be right there. Okay, that'll do. And then I'm going to go like that, and I'm going to hover. So I put this down square on the 4x4 mega mount. This is permanent. Trust me, I don't take this off this. This is forever. This is a forever mount. And then I'm lining up the edge of the mega mount with the edge of the card. And then I know it's going to be bang in the middle. And then I'm hovering until I'm happy with it, and then I'm squishing. And then when I squish, it's quite cool actually, because you can see it and I'm going to squish on the moon or the sun or whatever that is, right? And then let's hope that this worked. Right, so that's that. And then I'll lift that off, and it's absolutely beautiful. There you go. So that worked, and I'm just going to take my finger to get rid of the excess there. Didn't that look lovely? So what a nice background that's going to be. Love it. And see what's exciting about these backdrop stamps. There are loads of different ones. There are round ones, oval ones, but what's really cool about them is this gutter. It's the simplest idea, but you see how it just gives you the most delightful frame, doesn't it? See, now that, if I was going to do more of these, I would not clean that off. I would get rid of, I'd just do that to get rid of the moon area, and then I'd go again with another set of colours. There you go. So that's that done. Easy, easy. Let me show you what I was talking about. If you, there's one I did earlier. Of course I did, right? This is even better. This is a little bit more water. See what happens if you put too much water in? See how it clogs up the guttering? I mean, does it matter? But I'm just saying, the perfectionist in me is happiest with that one. But it needs to be dry, so I'm going to have to go with number 2. I'm going to have to go with this one because this one's beautiful. Core. Love that. Look, I've got to come in close now. Every now and again, you hit the jackpot, and this is the jackpot. Now, how do I get that moon off? Let's have a look. Really, you want to kind of just tease the edge like that, right? And then lift it off. There you go. Perfect. So it goes to show you as well that it really does give you a crisp, you know, it doesn't seep in underneath, does it? Especially if you get the water amount right. See, and what I love about these distress oxides, because you might ask me, well, can I use the normal ink pads? The thing about distress, you can, but you won't get as good a result as this. And see, what you get with the distress oxides is this mottled effect. If you get it right, it's absolutely glorious. Look. Okay, so there's your background. Jane just sent me a thing saying that's a good one. I know, Jane. And I think therein lies the magic here. It's when you're making a card or making, let's forget the word card, when you're making art, right? And you're using different processes. And you know the process, you know the steps, you know what you've got to do. And sometimes it works really well and sometimes it doesn't work so well. But when it works well, there's nothing quite like it, is there? You know what I mean? There's nothing quite like that sense of achievement. And that's what spurs you on to go again and again and again and again, isn't it? Yeah, so there you go. And these are beautiful. I'm going to pop that in a special place. I'm hanging on to that one. But these are beautiful for backgrounds, okay? Right, let's have another look. So I've done that, I've got that, and now I'm going to use my back to this particular stamp. I'm going to use the smaller thingy, Eiffel Tower, right? And I'm going to pop it on there. So we've got choices now. Let me tell you something about this. You see, you can, if you feel bold, you can go straight on there. Right, let's just mount this up. Let's put this on a mount. Let's pop that on a mount. Right. I could go straight on there and then pop her in place. Right. Or I'll tell you what I did. Really, I did not go straight to this. I went on a piece of tracing paper like we do in the shack. Look, see? And then I go to there and I think, right, okay. So when I'm doing this, I stamp my composition onto a bit of tracing paper first till I'm happy with it. And then when I think, yeah, that's going to look absolutely peach right there. See, once I've got this, I can move it around. I could put it there, I could put it there, I could put it there. You can move it, right? You've got your composition. So I've got that one mounted. I've done the composition. And then I've got the little girl, right? Enter the new triangular stamps. So here I'm using the little girl to keep it simple. But say we could use all 3 of them. Look, so you stamp them there, and then maybe we put Big Ben in the background. Do you see what I mean? All of these work absolutely the same. All of them. Look, you could put them on a bench there and then put the Eiffel Tower. So you've got all these beautiful different ideas. I see lots and lots of potential in these little triangle people. But what I need now is to stamp my Eiffel Tower into that piece of artwork. Got to make sure it's dry. That's why I did this yesterday. You don't have to wait listen, you don't have to wait all day. But obviously you need to make sure, like if I stamped onto that, I can feel that it's still a little bit wet. I want to give it an hour, you know? So you make a few, don't you? And you wait. Right, now let's have a look. I want to stamp my Eiffel Tower in there. Would you just stamp straight onto there? Or, see, yesterday I'd already primed it because I put it on here. See, I'm going to check that I'm going to warm my stamp up. Let me come over a little bit. I'm going to warm my stamp up. I'm going to ink it. I'm going to the good news about using sketchy stamps is if you miss a bit, it's not the end of the world. But let's test it. Let's just test it. You get the pressure right. I don't want to squish too hard. I don't want it to be too fat. See, that's what I want, just like that. Perfect. I'll tell you what else I'm going to do is get rid of any ink that I've got around the outside. See, because I pressed too hard, I've got some ink going on. Right, so now that's going there, and I'm just going to make a mental note. Right, 3/4 of the way. Where am I putting it? Bang in the middle? No, I'm going to put it over to that edge. You see? So I know that's where I want to put it. That's where I want to put her. Do you get it? See, I could do that like that. Okay, I'm going that side. That's what the composition idea is for, that you use the tracing paper to decide where you're going to put the images. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to, just for difference, I'm going to come over this side. Actually, do you know what? Sorry, this is a little bit buckled. So I'm going to hit the card not flat on. If that's the case, right, I'll give you another tip. If you see how that's happening, now if that happens, I'm going to hit the stamp there before I hit it there. So if that's the case, why don't I just do this? And then that way it's flat. If your artwork is sometimes wet work, if you like, it buckles, doesn't it? You know, you could run it through a machine, flatten it. But if it's a little bit buckled, you need to be working on a flat surface, a flat, hard surface, and it definitely helps if the card is flat. So if it's not, all I need to do is just hold it in place while I'm working, you know, and then it's not going to move, it's not going anywhere, and actually it's an all-round better idea. Right, so now we're going to take our Eiffel Tower. I'm going to hover with the handle. I'm staying over this side this time. And then I'm just going to plant that Eiffel Tower, but I'm over this side. Don't want to press too hard. So if I press in the bigger area, the larger area of the stamp, then this bit will usually follow. Do you see? So I'm just going to do that. I reckon that'll be nice. And I'll lift that off. Absolutely wonderful. So that works well. Don't have to clean them off. That'll be fine. Now the girl. See, this is interesting. So I'm going to take my girl. I'm going to stick to the plan. Let's stick to her. I'm just going to use her I'll use her on a tall mount like that so that you can see what I'm doing. So I've already kind of experimented, you see, and decided how far over I can go to get that depth. Okay, so I've got two things I need to do now. That's all right. Let's get that stamp again. Right, here we go. So I'm going to stamp her in. Let's stamp her on here just so that I can see what I'm doing. Right, she's going to be about there. Okay. Needs to be the same depth of black, see, otherwise it will look weird. So that's why we warmed it up. Now we're going to do that. And now I'm going to add her. Let's see. I'm going to add her there. Perfect. And she's overlapping, but that's okay. Now I've got her in my hand. Now, I've done all the black for the moment. Let's pop that there. So I've done all the black. So the next thing I want to do, see, we're at the same place again now. we're at the same place as I was before. What I'm going to do as well is I'm going to change her dress. So in order to change her dress, I can use different card or paper, right? So for the sake of speed, so I've got companion paper, see, so I can cut her dress out. And if I want to, I can make her dress pink, just like that. See, so now I'm just going to add pink to her dress. Bob's your uncle. And if I wanted to, I could take this and add a little border of pink round the outside so it ties in with her dress. You get it? So companion papers work brilliantly for this stuff. You don't have to have a great big companion paper to do this. We've got little swatches. See these little swatches? These are marvelous for this job. Let me pan out a little bit so you can see this. Right, so we've got these little 3.5 inch, they're only £2.99 each, companion paper swatches, but they do pack a punch and they're double-sided. So if I show you here, for example, you can see all the different colours. So it's, look, let me show you. It's peach on that side, but it's lime green on that side. So every single one, see, it gives you different colours. Very, very nice. And we've got plenty, I think we've got these in stock. Yeah, otherwise Jilly wouldn't have given them to me. So they're £2.99 each. And you can see, all you need to look it up is companion paper swatches. They're in the shop. When we do the Clarity TV, we put together everything that I'm using or everything that we use. We always load it for the one-stop shopping experience. We load it into that area so it's easy for you to locate. Okay, so what you'll find when you go in there, you'll find these companion swatches and you'll know it's them because they're only £2.99 each. So that way I don't have to worry about telling you all the different. So we could take a companion paper swatch, yeah, or I'll show you. I've got this as well. So for example, we've got the designer paper, haven't we? See all the different colours here. So I can use designer paper and I can cut that out. Or we've also got designer card swatches for the mini makes. So that's where we've got these little bits. See, these are pretty cool. For when you cut these out, they're absolutely superb. So you can see all the different colours on there. Really nice. Okay. So they're worth looking into as well. And I know that Gillian moved them into that one-stop shop area online as well. So these are designer card mini makes. So I've stamped the girl on there, and then I've stamped the girl, just for the sake of speed, I've stamped it onto a little mini make. You see, like that. Now all I need to do now is chop that. I don't have to worry about any of it. That's why these triangle girls and people are so useful, because they're so easy to cut out. I mean, these scissors are a little bit extreme, Barbara, but they're sharp. There's no doubt about that. So you can cut out, let me have a look. There you go. And you just leave the black line on the bit you're cutting out as well. There you go. So now I've got, see, the great thing about this is I could do a load of can-can girls. If I wanted to, I could pop that one there. Then I could put another girl next to her. Same, see what I mean? I could overlap them so they got their arms around each other. There's a lot of creative play in these little girls. And then what I'm going to do, once I've got my little dress, and I've picked a colour, that's really nice in the background, you see? How do I stick that on there? Well, I honestly, I would use perga glue. There you go. Oh, look, pot holder. Fantastic piece of kit. You wouldn't believe, do you know what? It's exactly a week to the day that we came up with this. You would not believe how many of you have taken advantage of these pot holders, loaded as well, which is so cool. So let me just, yeah, so hopefully Jane will be able to give you the heads up on that. I'm going to go with the perga glue. It's good. I'm going to take the lid off. Let me show you. This is for those of you who've never used perga glue before. It's a really cool PVA glue. Because it says Pergamano on it, sometimes we assume that it has to be, it's just for parchment. It's not true. This works brilliantly. But I also want, if it's a brand new one, you want this nozzle to be tight, right? Let me show you if I come in tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bold needle tool and I'm just going to perforate. I'm not going to cut off any of it. I want it to be that fine. So all I've done is perforated this plastic with a 1 needle bolt. There's no glue on it. It's perfectly fine. I haven't wrecked my needle tool. A needle, anything will do, but it's good if it's got a handle. So now that's got a hole in it. Let me just, before I forget to show you this, one thing that Jane came up with last week, if you were there, you'll remember. She said it would be great if you could put something on the bottom so we can tip the glue upside down so that it doesn't go hard inside the container. Brilliant idea. Brilliant idea. We did it. Jim added that to the design so that when you're not using it, you just use it upside down. When you are using it, you use it the right way around. So these are great. This is sticky ink, just in case you're wondering, and this is Dorso oil. This is beautiful for blending pencils, pergoliners, polychromos with a blending pen, or, well, your Dorse, you can use tissue paper. Sticky ink is an amazing liquid because it stays sticky until you put something on it. So say you wanted to put glitter on here. If you used a mapping pen and you dotted sticky ink on there, then you sprinkled it with glitter, it would stick to the sticky ink. Thing is that that sticky ink would stay wet until you put something to it. Very clever. Now let's have a look. So I've got my little dress and I'm going to stick that on there like so. So all I want to do now is come in a bit closer and then we're nearly done, friends. And it's Friday and it's the weekend. So I'm going to take the top piece off like that. And I'm just going to add a little, see, it comes out in the tiniest amount. I don't need much. I don't want that mayo effect, you know, and because it's got a tiny, we've only pierced with a tiny little needle. See, it's super, super fine. And then I'm going to load that. I'm going to put that upside down in there, right? And then I've got my tweezers handy. Right, let me just lift that up like so. Let's have a look. So I've got my tweezers and then I'll pop that over there. And then you see you've got a bit of wiggle room. That's the best part of this. So I've got a little bit of wiggle room so I can get my dress in the right place. Give it a minute or so to settle. There you go. None of it's squelched out. How cool is that? Simple as you like. And we could take that away once it's dry. There you go. So just explaining how easy it is to do this. It's your day today. So I like that. I mean, where did I find that stamp? Well, in me go-to box. But I found a couple of other stamps that I thought might work as well. This is a gorgeous one. Annie's, look. You hung the moon. Doesn't that look gorgeous? You know what I mean? That would look so nice on there. You could use you hung the moon, dream, carpe diem. Yeah, do you know what? Let's go with carpe diem. Seize the day, friends, because I think that's going to look sharp. Now I've got choices. I can use it's your day today. Let's use carpe diem. Now I got choices now. I can either go straight onto the artwork. Of course I can, or I can go onto a little piece of scrap, cut it out, stick it on the background, etc., etc. So let's just go straight to the artwork. Let's see what this looks like. I reckon it will fit really nicely. See, I'm building my little picture here as well, just to check, aren't I? Get the texture right. Yeah, see, they look so good together. The font just sits beautifully. So we're going to go like that. Don't want to press too hard. Hover with the handle till you're happy with the position. And I've come in a little bit. There you go. Oh, looky, looky, looky. Carpe diem. There you go. Seize the day. And that, my friends, is my message to you. Seize the day. Make the most of your Friday. Make the most of your weekend. Enjoy it. If you enjoy making art, then the weekend is a perfect time to make art. I know that I shall be. I'm so excited. I get to do some pottery. I get to do. I'm colouring in a turtle. I've made a date with myself on Sunday afternoon to colour in that green turtle that we started yesterday evening. That's a date with myself and art on Sunday afternoon. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I know I've gone half an hour over the top, but lots of little tricks and tips. Beautiful artwork from our Clarity Art team. Don't forget, you can catch up on Catch Up if you fancy watching again, and you can take some screen grabs perhaps of those beautiful art samples. Other than that, check out Facebook, Clarity Worldwide. It will be flooded with the art team's beautiful artwork. And I will do a blog over the weekend, and I'll get these little people out because they are so, so lovely. I drew them myself, and I have to tell you, they are a delight to use. So whether you introduce the triangle people or the people that come with the urban sketchy artwork, they add the story, they add the narrative along with the sentiments. So enjoy being a creative, because that's what you are. Lots of love. Have a great weekend. And and also don't forget Paul. He's on at 1 until 3 o'clock on Hobbycraft, and then he's on at 6 o'clock this evening too. He's launching a phenomenal small collection of beautiful MIDI plates. I think you'll love them. Thanks for keeping me company. And Jane, thank you so much for your help too in many, many ways. Bye-bye now, friends.